I want you to imagine sitting in a room with 30 or more at-risk young people, aged between 14 and 25 years of age, who are all intently listening to one young at-risk person speak. This young person is standing in the middle of the room sharing her story of trauma. You listen, initially stunned by the story, and secondly by the clarity and poise that is being displayed by this young girl. How can this possibly be? This story, so intense and heartbreaking, is being shared with other at-risk young people to show them a means to rise above their suffering, to process their trauma and embrace their life. These stories are being shared by young people who've trained to be mentors of a formal peer-to-peer mentoring program. Those they are sharing their stories with look to these mentors as role models and want to emulate their behaviours. They want to be in the same position as these mentors, kicking goals and moving away from the traumas that they have experienced. On many occasions, I've had the privilege of listening to these stories and the resultant narratives of resilience and healing. I wanted to understand what motivated these young people, considered at risk by adult-led intervention services, to mentor their peers so effectively and in turn heal themselves. Last year in Australia, more than 390,000 cases of child abuse were reported. That equates to one report every 90 seconds. As adults, we indulge in willful amnesia. We don't want to hear these stories, for if we don't hear these stories, we can reinforce our culture of silence. We don't have to acknowledge responsibility for the trauma that has been imposed on these young people by our peers. I wanted to understand how this mentoring concept worked. Using narrative inquiry, I asked 12 at-risk young people to share their stories with me. Their stories of motivation, their stories of challenges, their stories of experience, and their stories of resilience. This concept of at-risk young people mentoring their at-risk peers is poorly understood. We recognise that young people can provide effective peer mentoring and that mentoring is a positive intervention for young people at risk. But what we don't understand is how at-risk young people can mentor their traumatised peers. My research shows that these young people are, are recognising the value of sharing their stories with others and initiating contexts of change through peer collaboration. They don't really recognise their worth and they downplay their ability to help other at-risk young people. They mentor because they want to. They help because they see in others what they have so recently seen in themselves. So what's the value of finding out how and why this works? We need to remit social breakdown and foreclosed opportunities for young people at risk. We need to ensure that these young people, let down by the adults who are meant to protect them, can reach their full potential. We need to untie their hands, listen to their voice, and let them show us how we can help.